Joining me now is Marjorie Mesidor, partner at Phillips Associates. Marjorie, so great to have you on. Okay, so much to unpack here. What is your reaction to Governor Cuomo's reaction to this?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Governor Cuomo's video was very difficult to watch. It was riddled with a lot of excuses as to why he partook in the behavior. And he seems to be under the impression that his intent not to sexually harass or to make others feel uncomfortable is controlling here, which it ultimately really isn't. There were other things that were thrown in there about his father, about his mother, about the COVID-19 pandemic, the ticking Delta variant, that just seemed out of place and awkward. I watched one of the accusers, Charlotte Bennett's reaction to the video, and she said something that I think really hits it on the nail, that it was frankly quite weird, difficult to watch, and you question the wisdom in putting such a video forth in the midst of something so serious. What he was trying to create, which I think is a classic dichotomy in when you're on the defense side of a sexual harassment claim, it seemed, particularly when he mentioned the COVID-19 pandemic, he seemed to imply, I'm the governor, I did a good job handling COVID-19. This is a serious issue. A lot of work still needs to be done. I didn't mean to do it. Excuse my behavior and allow me to continue to do my work. And that is quite candidly the narrative of every powerful individual who's ever sexually harassed. Usually powerful individuals who are good at their jobs, who do this kind of sexual harassment, are quite valuable to the companies that they are in. And for plaintiffs' attorneys like myself, who typically represent women who have been sexually harassed, it's infuriating to indicate that the value of this person in this job is more than the discomfort, is more than the hostile work environment, it's more than the shattering of these women's lives.
So as you mentioned, you're an attorney and your specialty is workplace discrimination. If this wasn't the public sector, if this type of behavior was going on in the private sector, do you think that the governor would have a job right now?
It depends. Employers pay all the time to keep and protect their harassers. All the time that happens. I cannot tell you the amount of times in which individuals have been accused of sexual harassment when it's not been their first, their second, their third, or even their 10th accusation. And private employers sometimes do continue to employ those harassers. The law clearly states that an employer need only be reasonable in their response to accusations of substantiated discrimination or sexual harassment. The law does not dictate that the person must lose their job. We've seen, particularly during the uptick of the Me Too movement, incredible examples of private employers who took down otherwise separated from harassers. That was not the norm. That was why the Me Too movement was such a big deal, because the level of accountability that private employers were finally taking steps to not only address these issues, but saying essentially, we don't care how valuable these individuals are or how much they align with our brand on its face. What they did was wrong and we're going to get rid of them. But that is really still an anomaly and not the status quo.
As you read through that investigation yesterday, which was quite exhaustive, was there anything in particular that surprised you or stuck out to you?
Absolutely. One of the things, I mean, it's 165 pages, 179 witnesses. There was references to transcript testimony, which tells me that this was recorded by a stenographer and possibly under oath. It was clear that the governor was interviewed for 11 hours. The thing that stuck out to me the most is the level of detail. Usually when you have a situation that is highly political, such as this one, there tends to be a lot of vagueness in the reporting. It'll say inappropriate comments or inappropriate or unwanted touchings. Here it was date, time, specifically what was done, forced kisses, hugs, gropes, touching of the buttocks, what was said, to whom it was said, the people who saw it, the people who heard it, the fear, changing of a criteria in the case of the state trooper that he sexually harassed. All of these things were incredibly detailed and quite candidly scathing. It is the most candid and most honest reporting that I've seen probably in my lifetime.
Some of the details were just cringeworthy, to your point. We don't have a lot of time left. Curious if you think that criminal charges are going to come from this.
Well, we are aware that an ADA in Albany has already started a criminal investigation. The criminal standard is a much higher standard than the civil standard. So whether or not criminal charges come out of this is really going to be whether or not the district attorney wants to take the chance of prosecuting a highly public individual under these narratives. But certainly the report is helpful, the number of witnesses is helpful. That provides essentially a roadmap for prosecution if it does occur. It's definitely appropriate, certainly forcible touching, even possibly persistent sexual abuse or possible charges that may come out of this, particularly for the number of instances and the number of individuals that he has done this to over an extended period of time.
All right, great insight. Thank you so much, Marjorie Mesidor, partner at Phillips Associates. Really appreciate your time.